Mm,
Hi,
where are you?
family.
Good morning.
We're on
Morning.
lesson 317 today. And Nook's going to read for us. Thanks, sis.
Did we flip a coin?
I flipped an imaginary one.
Okay. Lucky I trust you.
I said Nook is head and I'm tails, and I flipped it and it was head. So, okay.
Yeah, right. I reckon it was manipulated. No.
Sis, I'm shocked.
Oh, no. Okay. Here we go. Lesson 317, if I can find it. Here it is. Okay. I follow in the way appointed me. I follow in the way appointed me. I have a special place to fill, a role for me alone. Salvation waits until I take this part as what I choose to do. Until I make this choice, I am the slave of time and human destiny.
Whoa.
Yeah, whoa. But when I willingly and gladly go the way my Father's plan appointed me to go, then then will I recognize salvation is already here, already given all my brothers, and already mine as well. Father, your way is what I choose today. Where it would lead me, do I choose to go? What it would have me do, I choose to do. Your way is certain and the end secure. The memory of you awaits me there, and all my sorrows end in your embrace, which you have promised to your Son, who thought mistakenly that he had wandered from the sure protection of your loving arms.
Mm.
Mm.
He's really emphasizing our voluntariness, right? That it's a
Mm.
voluntary decision, and that salvation simply waits until what we call free will is finally in alignment with God's will, which is our holy self's will, right?
Mm. It's our true will.
That's right.
It's the only place or state that we will feel safe and secure, loved, peaceful, joy. Yeah.
And so we came
So,
here to make this world so that we could exercise a will apart from God.
yeah.
Okay. And so we're not going to to choose differently, right?
Mm.
Until we're really certain that pursuing our will doesn't bring anything that we want. I'm fairly certain most of us can say that we've seen that by now. And if you haven't and you're still pursuing something through a strong self will or a desire or something that you think that you must accomplish or build or conquer or obtain before you are complete and whole, those are signs of the human will, which is total opposite from God's will. And yet, thank goodness, those that have hit the wall and recognize that never pays off, it is in a deep surrender. So we're not reading this with judgment. It's good news that we can stop wherever we're at and hand it over to Holy Spirit. You know, it's not that we're going to have to do a U-turn. It's not that the things that we hold dear are going to be deprived from us. It's going to be, what are we using what we're doing for? So
Mm.
instead of aggrandizing a separate self, it is about being useful to the sonship. How is your expression going to be used by Him to heal our brothers? It's transcending self interest.
Mm.
And when we
Yeah.
do that, we find that salvation is recognized. Why? Because Nook and I have talked about the flow that inevitably arises when we say yes to our holy will. Well, then the whole world is working for us. And that's where it's not an effort to find the perfect sale or to meet the person that you need to meet or for doors to swing open. Everything that you need, God does not say, walk this way and then good luck with the how. He not only points the way, but gives us the how, gives us the means to accomplish it, the desire within to accomplish it. And it's certain, I don't want to use the success, ego grabs the word success, but it's blessed. It's absolutely blessed. God cannot point us in a certain direction and it not be accomplished through us. So it's a resting in that, a rest in that, as opposed to this trying to overcome, striving, trying. That's an independent doer. That's the independent authorizer and a will apart from God. So we go in the flow after we surrender this I know mind and independence, to find that everything we ever really wanted is when we consent, when we turn around and choose. I follow in the way appointed me, because there is one. I wonder what that is. If you don't know, it's a great time to stop and ask. Thy will be done, not my own.
Thank you, sis.
Mm-hmm.
And some tools along the way.
Yeah.
We can't do this without the tools, which is number one is forgiveness, right? Mm-hmm. Which is everything is there, pretty much everything is there for us to learn how to forgive our own projections from the ego that we mistakenly valued, wanted to keep a separate sense of mythical me.
Yeah.
So forgiveness and now moment presence, to observe whenever we're perceiving through the lens of fear, attack, or whatever. Yeah.
So we're gonna, and just to bring up an old friend, while you still think that this is you and there's things in the gap that you still want, this is the defense to keep God's will, out of our awareness. So this is us on our independent streak and thinking that we know what's in our best interest and we're out to go get it. But when we hit the wall, this is the forgiveness that Sis is talking about that has to happen. I'm forgiving myself for the belief that I'm this person. I'm forgiving myself for the beliefs that I'm empty and I need to complete myself with idols in the gap. I want to join with my holy will, which is God's will, and let this state of mind, the peace and the understanding that accompanies a mind at peace, to direct this figure temporarily in a happy dream or a real world where we go about simply extending the will of God, serving the sonship and not the little self, mythical self.
Yeah. And just for those who may have recently joined us and haven't seen the gap diagram before, it is available along with abundant tools. Yeah. Down below the YouTube video, always it's in the helpful resources box there. Yeah.
And you can pull it up
or the
and
quick references. Yeah. And the other thing is really learning to practice the 7 keys of authentic communication, or authentic relating. Yeah.
Right.
Because by practicing that, we come in to really learn of our authenticity. We start coming into who we really are, so that our thoughts, our feelings, what we say and what we do are vertically in alignment. Because at the moment let's be honest, most of us through the ego abandon ourselves or betray ourselves by saying one thing but feeling something different. Yeah. Or by doing something but knowing that is just attracting guilt.
Right.
And, there's terrible inner conflict because we don't know how to be consistent. That Jesus says that real honesty, the real self-honesty, is consistency, where we're in alignment. What we think, feel, say, and do are one.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Right.
And that doesn't have to mean that you're perfect, but it means that you're being radically honest about where you do leave yourself and bring that to him for healing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
because it's
and
only this one, right? The mythical me. And you know when you do it. I mean, I knew when I was doing it, when you peel off and you try to wear a mask so that you can get certain favors or love or affection or appreciation or approval
Mhm.
from somebody, right? So we're so fragmented, and that's to keep this going, right? Or if we think we have an independent will from God, we're seeking to be the best fill in the blank. And so we're wearing, different masks depending on who we're with to make that happen.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, nothing real is happening because we're not allowing the will of God to govern us. So that's where we just go, okay, I'm no longer going to abandon myself. I'm going to forgive this thought of an independent will and come into my authenticity. And then God can use that authentic self, right? Because that authentic self is the one that has a special function that only it can fulfill. But it can't do anything for the will of God while there's nobody home, so to speak. We're off in fantasy land.
Yeah. And the other thing from my own experiences, when I fall into that trap,
Mm-hmm.
I'm closed to guidance.
Right. Yeah,
That's
we don't
that
want to
is
hear it.
huge. We don't want to, no. So and that really yeah, leads to pain,
Yes.
suffering, unfortunately. Yeah.
More
Yeah.
separation.
Yeah. So it is important that we use the tools. And for those of you who are coming on recently, there are the 7 keys to authentic relating or communication. The videos are
Yep.
available just below here in the quick reference box or
Yeah.
section down there.
Yep. There's 7 keys, and our brother Daniel has beautifully put together a video on each of the keys. So
Mhm.
spend some time to unpack and integrate.
Yeah, and an introduction video too. Okay,
Yeah.
so yeah, good, good, and no guilt, no self-judgment.
Right. We've
No?
got nothing's really going, we've never actually done anything. So this is a choice for reality over fantasy. This
Yeah,
is, I want love, not fear. I want life, not death. I want the truth, not error. So this is an election to be meaningful and to show up, to be your
because
holy self,
right,
the only one
because
there is. Yeah.
yes, because when there is self-judgment present,
Mm-hmm.
when there is a belief in unworthiness, um, that is the personal ego will,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
And
I'm,
it
I'm
wants
seeing it so
control.
clearly now that all judgment is just a way to make the first lie true. We beat ourselves up about judgment, but judgment says I'm looking on something and I'm first making it real. There's a first judgment, and there's a second judgment about, what we think about that.
Mhm.
It's just to make a mythical me real. Our judgments upon ourself keep that self real in our thought. We just need to see that. That's not our identity. But our judgment on that one is actually the ego's way of keeping it, as a real boy or girl.
So we have the option to effortlessly release that judgment
Mm-hmm. Now
because
that
we
we
know
know it.
intellectually it's not true.
Mm-hmm.
God
Yeah.
doesn't have that judgment against us. He knows what we are, completely sinless, incorruptibly innocent,
Right.
totally uninterrupted, yeah, and eternal.
Yes.
That's it.
Perfect, whole, and complete.
Yeah.
He loves us. Yes. And there is a lovable being to experience, minus, the gap and our judgments that we lay on it. Let's just forgive it. Thanks, sis.
Thank you. So that was lesson 318.
17.
No, 317. What
Yes.
was it? Which one?
317.
317.
Yeah, I
I
follow
follow in the way appointed me.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
All right, you guys. Thank you. And yeah, enjoy those handouts and those the authentic relating videos down below. And let us know what you think.
Beautiful.
Okay. See you next time.
Thank you, sis, and thank you,
Thank you.
family.